Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's see. Sorry about that. Well, anyway, welcome back to my channel. Like I was saying on my last video, I said that I wanted to do a little Halloween project and then maybe talk about some paranormal experiences. I was just debating on how I wanted to do it because my life is hectic. It's so busy. So I wasn't sure how I'm going to do it without getting interrupted because the story, the story that happens, mm, not the story, the experiences that happened to me is very lengthy. Like, because I have so much that happened, I can write a whole book about it if I wanted to. Just saying, there's just so many paranormal things that happened to me growing up. So I'm not sure on how I want to do this or how I start. I guess I could just, you know, start off with short stories going forward, or I don't know if I want to share all of it. It's just so many, and I don't want to bring in the bad vibes back to my life. That's another thing that I was a little concerned about, like, just talking about it, just, give it that energy to come back and, you know, come back into my life and just relive it all over again. It's very traumatizing. But before I go into that, I wanted to do a little Halloween project. No, our project that I want to do, which I like to involve some 3D art, like I would do. This is a great set for Halloween, a Resident Evil theme. But I like to incorporate some 3D design, some hand-drawn art design, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. Like I said, I wanted to incorporate some paranormal stories, the experiences that I had experienced while I'm talking about it, to make it fun and scary at the same time. But in my case, it's a little creepy. I didn't want to bring it back. I didn't want to bring that energy, a negative energy, back in my life. But yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I was thinking about just doing the video and then just doing a voiceover. I don't know. I can never plan these things when it comes to this. It's just so weird. Like I said, I'm a planner, but when it comes to this, I'm not a planner. I just go with the flow. But we'll see how it goes. I don't know if I want to talk about it, and then I'm just back and forth. Okay, I'm just back and forth with it because I don't want to talk about it, and then at the same time, I do want to talk about it and share. And I would like to hear some stories that you guys have endured, if you guys endured any, or if you guys experienced the similar experience that I did. That would be very interesting. I was always into the paranormal stuff. As you can see, I am a very spiritual person. I love astrology. I love numerology, all of that. And it's just because of what had happened to me growing up. But yes. But before I do so, I wanted to do a little Halloween project, art design. I wanted to do Sam from Halloween. I believe that's his name. I got the fingers, the nails, the artificial nails all prepped. I think I'm going to start off with, I'm not sure. I'm going to start off with, I think I'm going to start off maybe the 3D design. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't plan these things. I did pull these colors out. I got the Rosalind, the C371 for the orange. His clothes. I got some brown, some black and white UV gel because I didn't have orange, unfortunately. I need to get the multicolor ones. But I'm not sure what I want to do yet. All right, guys, I'm just looking at, I had to pause a bit. I was just looking at some different pictures of Sam to see how I want to draw or make the design. I'm just trying to look at different themes of him to see how I want to do it. Let me see. I think the thumb will be his clothing pattern. And then the index finger will be, and I thought I was in frame, sorry. So I think the thumb will be his clothing pattern. The index finger will be his little candy pumpkin knife thing. I'll attempt to draw Sam. On the middle finger, the index will be his sack, his candy sack, and then just a random, just another, the thumb and the pinky will match his clothing. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So starting off that, let me see how dark. This is so light. Like a bright orange. All right, I think this orange from Beatles is the color I want. It's a little, I don't know, like a darker orange. It looks lighter in camera, but it's really darker. So I'm going to use that. So I just gave a heads up on what I'm going to do. So maybe it's easier to talk about my experiences that way. So like I said, the thumb and the pinky is going to be his clothing patches or his clothes. Maybe droplets of blood. His index finger will be his little candy knife. The middle finger is going to be an art, a drawing of Sam. The index finger, or not the index finger, the ring finger is going to be his candy sack. So that's what I am going to do. Going to attempt it. But anyway, so let's get started on my experiences. I would not know where to start. Again, it just happened. Shit. I forgot that this is going to be on the hand. Let me get an idea of where it's going to be on the hand, because like I said, I take pictures on the hand. So let's put you on here. I don't know why I removed it. You know what? Yeah, what am I doing? What am I doing? Sorry, this is what happens when you don't plan. So much easier if you plan. I like to put it on the hand first. Then I paint it with nail polish just to get the idea of where the cuticle ends, if you know what I mean. So, like I was saying, I guess I can start off as I was a newborn. This is from my mom. She always believed that there's something with me that was very spiritual. How do you say this? Spiritual. Okay. She's always felt that I was a very, something spiritual with me. Okay. Just say it like that. So I'm trying to focus and do this at the same time. Focus and talk. A little hard. That's why I was wondering if I should do a voiceover or not. But anyway, she always stated that she always said that I was spiritual since I was a newborn. And by what I mean on that is, she said that when I was 3 days old, newborn, of course, my older sister and my older brother was at school. My dad was at work, and we had lived in a townhome, upstairs, downstairs apartment complex. Sorry, I'm trying to not get it on the. Let's cure this. Flash cure this real quick, and then in the big lamp it goes. So my siblings, my two older siblings, were at school, and my dad was at work. So it's just her and me, her and I, shall I say, at home. I was only 3 days old at the time, and she left me upstairs on the bed. I was asleep, and newborns, you have to wrap them in the blankets tightly so they don't move around, right? So they don't move around, and see, it's kind of hard to talk while I'm trying to do this. I'm usually a multitasker. I don't know. I don't know if I just feel nervous on talking about it. I don't know, guys. I don't know how long. I don't know if I'm going to keep this footage or not, or just, I'm talking and maybe just do a voiceover on it. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm just going with the flow at the moment. But anyway, she was downstairs cooking. I was upstairs asleep. Again, 3 days old. And she stated that she heard me screaming my lungs out, just crying like I was hurt or something. I'm trying to think. Hold on. See what I wanted to do with the background. I think this will be black. Yeah, so she stated that I was screaming on the top of my lungs, and she didn't know what happened, why I was, screaming the way I was. And so she ran up there, rushed up there, mind you, again, just only 3 days old, freshly out of the womb, okay, wrapped up in a blanket so I wouldn't be able to move. I shouldn't be able to move because, again, newborn. She ran up there because she heard me screaming my lungs out. And when she went up there, I was no longer on the bed. She said that I was in the closet floor crying. And she didn't know what the hell was going on. She looked everywhere for, for intruders or whatever. And she was just mind blown because she didn't know what happened. She didn't understand how I got into the closet, how I ended up in there. So she freaked out. She got freaked out. So she brought me downstairs and she just left it as that. And she is not, although she had experienced a lot of paranormal activity growing up as well, she, for whatever reason, was skeptical about everything. And I don't know. My mom is, and that's my mom. She'll find anything that she feels that she can explain. She'll just say it's something else. In this case, she didn't know how to explain it because she know damn well that as a newborn, I was not able to roll myself out of there and into the closet. And I had asked her if the bed was on the floor. Even though Asian parents, a lot of Asian parents, we don't have bed frames. They don't, especially refugee parents. My parents came from Cambodia. So a lot of parents, a lot of Asian parents, at least mine anyway, uh, don't believe in bed frames. So I asked her, was the bed on the floor or was the bed on the floor or was it on a bed frame? She said, no, they're on crates. So it wasn't on the floor. However, they were on milk crates. So she said there was no way that I was able to roll off the bed. Again, newborn. She said I was 3 days old. Roll off the bed into the closet across the room with my blanket still intact. And she couldn't understand why and how my blanket was still intact if I was to roll over somehow, which is impossible. And she said that I was just crying my lungs out. And she freaked out. She looked around to see if there was any intruders. And of course, there was nobody. No signs of a break-in, no whatever. So she, until this day, she don't know how I got in there. From the bed into the closet floor, just laid there. All right, I'm gonna put this in my lamp. I'm gonna take it off the the thing here. 1 second. My goodness, do you see that light? That's from the UV lamp. That's very, very strong. I like the fact that it is still fully charged. Let me show you. I like the fact that it's still fully charged. Look how bright it is. It's still full battery. When you put your hand in there, it automatically turns on itself. It is recommended not to use it while it's on a charger, so you have to charge it prior to using. And this is my first time using it today, and I've gotten it way before that haul video. So, no, actually, well, yeah, I gotten it way before that haul video. the $100 haul video, but I charged it on that day of that haul video, and it is still fully charged. That is awesome, but it is pretty strong. I can feel the heat. It automatically goes to 120. So yes, just a little tiny review, and so far it seems good. But okay, back to the little story. So yes, back to the video or the story. I'm going to put a second quote on this. And this cured it very well. But yeah, that's the first thing that ever happened, I guess you could say, to me as a child. To this day, my mom don't know what had happened. She can't explain it because she knows that I cannot roll over by myself. She firmly believed that something picked me up off the bed and placed me there. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? And that is my very first experience that had happened to me. And from then on, it's so funny because I would tell my mom all the stuff that had happened, especially her experiencing paranormal stuff growing up as well. She refused. She remained skeptical, but not skeptical at the same time. She tried her best to be open-minded, but then at the same time, she just don't want to believe it, I guess. I don't know. Even though she had experienced her own paranormal activity growing up in Cambodia, she still refused to believe our stories. And then we just eventually stopped telling her about it because, it's like, what point? At this point, oh my goodness, so bright. You see that? Wow, maybe I should lower it down. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but my goodness, that is really, really strong. But yes, that is one. So I don't know what do you guys think about that? Like, what do you think happened to me? And she said that I was the only one that happened to. So yeah, growing up, like I said, I have so many stories that happened. I don't want to bring too much of the bad juju vibes of a particular spirit that I've always encountered until this day. It always bugs me or come around when I'm at my lowest. Let's still nap. I want to make sure it's cured. I don't know if you guys ever experienced, well, I'm pretty sure, but when I'm at my lowest and like dark thoughts or just very stressed out with life, because life can get to you. Every time you hear me saying sorry, life happens. It's just work life, personal life, trying to balance everything is just very, very, very overwhelming. So this is cured, and I like the fact that it cured fully. It doesn't leave a really sticky, I don't feel like a sticky residue. amazing. So this lamp is really, really needed. But yeah, every time when you hear me say, oh, life happens, and that's what happened. I just need a break. When I get so overwhelmed, I just don't want to do anything. I just want to just recover by just sleeping. That's how stressful I get, or stressed I get. I don't know if I should use this or yellow. I think I'm going to use yellow. One moment. So yes, I found some yellow. I'm going to use this. And I guess I'm just going to start doing his patch. Get the easy ones out of the way first, so I'm not stressed over it. Let's put you on my little cute little turtle thing. Nails down. Oh, make sure you wear gloves or sunscreen or something. That is pretty strong. It kind of like burn a bit. So I don't know. I'm gonna just looking at some pictures on the side, just random patches. But yeah, that's my very first story. And then back to what I was saying about, I'm just going to draw random squares. Back what I was saying about that entity or whatever. I want to say he because it's always in a male form, but then I know it's not a he. It's an it. It always comes when in my darkest days and mock me. Always mocking me. Making fun of my suffering, you know? But when I'm in that state of mind, when you're in that state of mind, you will bring those, darkness to you naturally. You naturally bring that to you and bring that in your life. So that's why I was like a little debating if I should talk about it. But at the same time, I'm not afraid of it because every time when I encounter it, I would always defeat it in my dreams. But I had recently gotten another sleep paralysis and I had encountered him again. I am currently really stressed out about work at the moment. Had changed department, the whole process of learning new shit, trying to get the hang of the new shit. I have a problem with being perfect, being perfect, a perfectionist, yada, 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 when it comes to my work life. I am afraid to make mistakes. And yes, I understand that it roots down to childhood of of wanting to be perfect, because especially coming from an Asian household, it can get overwhelming, um, especially having a father figure compare you to other kids. Yeah, that's what I dealt with. Dealing with, you know, dealing with that, and then where's my other? Trying to be perfect on. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to work and talk at the same time. Um, so that's another story. There's a whole different mess that I deal with. It roots from childhood, trying to be perfect for the parents. And of course, there's no such thing as perfect. So you fail at it instead. Yeah. So I have a tendency of wanting to be perfect, something that's unattainable. And I do not like to make room for any mistakes. So that's that. So that stresses me out. Work right now is stressing me out. Fear of failure. Fear of, everything. So I tend to just be in my dark thoughts and suffer in my dark thoughts, and I hold everything in. And then when I hold everything in, that's when I would tend to meet that entity. And that entity always comes when I'm in that dark thought. Always comes in mocking me, saying that it would try to possess me. Stuff like that. And then I would always say, I'm stronger than you, that stronger than it. And I always defeat it every single time. Every single time I always defeat it. So that's why, like, talking about it, I don't want to give it power. However, I don't want it to think that I am afraid of it, if that makes sense. No, because I am not afraid of it. But yeah, that's another. I've always dealt with that entity. I started experiencing with him, or with it. I started seeing that entity when I had my first child, I believe. I was just so stressed out from everything, being a young mother, yada, yada, yada. Not being able to work because there was no babysitter. So, yeah. I'm trying to think of, and recently I said that it recently happened to me. I had got some decorations, some Halloween decoration, not decoration, but a Halloween decoration with a doll. And she's a scary little girl doll that's on a swing. And she looks pretty creepy. If you guys know that movie, The Ring or The Grudge or whatever, yeah, she looks like that. She looks like that and it creeps me out. But again, I did it to just try to be more powerful, spiritually powerful, and not be afraid of it. Because if you're afraid of it, you give it power. But back to being stressed out with this new change in my work right now. I was back into that dark space, dark thoughts in my head, and it came back to, I don't know. I don't know. It comes back during those times. Just, I am believing because, like I said, when you're in that dark thought, that's what they manifest off of. That's what they strive off of. So it came back to visit me. I'm sorry if I wasn't in frame. Came back to visit me in a form of that doll that I have. And I guess it knows that I am afraid of that movie. But like I said, I got that doll just to be more spiritually more powerful. If that makes sense. So I face my fears and not let it overcome me. Not let it overcome me and not let it win. Just to prove that I am not afraid of it, that it can come in my dreams all at once, but it's going to get defeated every single time. I just sound like a crazy person. That's another reason why, too, I was debating on talking about it, because I just sound like a crazy person. Every time when I share these type of stories, I always get the really look, and it just makes you not want to share and keep it to yourself. As I talk, I'm like, and listen to myself, I'm like, man, I can understand why people don't believe, because it does sound unbelievable. Anyway, I always go back off topic. My bad. Be patient with me, because I tend to do that. Yeah, so like I was saying, I don't know if that's good enough, or should I do another layer? I'm doing a layer. The yellow to me seems a little too light still. But anyway, he had came back in the form of that doll. And every time when I see that entity, and I can tell it's that same entity, it's the red eyes and yellow jagged teeth. And he sometimes appear as a really dark figure, black shadow figure. Sometimes he has long claws. He always try to spiritually fight me. I always spiritually win, because I always meet him in a lucid dreaming state. And if you ever lucid dream before, it can be very crazy and scary. But I always overcome it, and I always cast it away. And I always have different abilities on defeating him, either killing him by strangulation, casting spells in my dreams, turning myself into something else and devouring him in my dreams. And I sound crazy. I'm sorry. That's just the truth of it. I defeat him in different ways. At the end of the day, I'm always defeating it, and it always gets so mad. But it came in the form of that doll and tried to possess that doll or be in that doll and use it as a vessel to get in my home. I threatened and I said, I'm a very powerful person now. I'm not. You know what? When I think about it, no, he had came in earlier, or it had came in earlier during my childhood time. I've had encountered him when I was around 8 or 7 years old. And then he just became more present in my 20s when I had my first child. That's when it came more often. Just stress of motherhood, and other factors. But I think that's good. There's other factors that play a role in it. But I'm just trying to see if it needed additional curing. I think it does. Just to be safe. I'm going to do a whole 60. I'm liking this lamp. It's really strong and bright. I should face it away from me. Maybe face it away from me. There you go. My goodness, that is bright. But I guess it just made its way back, or tried to make its way back into. Hold on. Sorry, that was hubby texting me, telling me to get ready. We're going to the mall. This is what I'm talking about on how I want to do this, because I'm always doing something. Messy. I don't know how I want to tell it, because it's just so long. I can go off topic sometimes. I don't know. But just to finish this portion up, this little story up, yes. I had experienced them before. Growing up, I just remembered. But he went into the form of this doll because of my prior experience with a doll. That's another story in itself. And this is what I'm talking about. It's just, I have so many. I just get so confused on, not confused, but I just get so lost on where to start, But this is my recent one. He or it tried to go into this doll and trying to scare me, trying to say that it was going to use it as a vessel to get into my home and to find his way back into my life, yada, yada, yada. And I had threatened it and told it that if he does, this time he's going to get trapped. This time it's going to die. If, that's how I was looking so far. If it tries to come back into my life, especially into a doll form, that I was no longer a little girl no more, and that I am a grown woman now, and that I have I am more spiritually powerful, and that if it decides to be in that doll, that it can go ahead and be in a doll. I know that sounds horrible right now on what I said. But I had said that it can be in a doll. However, it's going to be forever trapped in it, and it's going to die in it, slowly die in it. And that if it wants to die permanently and forever, it can go ahead and be in that doll, because I'll find a way to go into its dreams. Okay. And kill it there. And I had told it that I had defeated you before. I'm not afraid of you. I was never afraid of you. That if you decide to come in my life again as this doll form, like you did prior, you're going to officially die this time. And I mean it. I'm going to slowly destroy you. That's what I told him, or told it. And it went from smiling, showing its ugly yellow jagged teeth, to no longer smiling. And it flew out, or went out of that doll. And I could feel that that doll was no longer, haunted by it, no longer. Did I overdo on the stitches? I don't know, maybe I did. So it flew out, and now I don't feel no presence in that doll no more. Because the moment I bought the doll, I kind of felt like, I don't know if I just invited it again. And just having that thought probably did. But I no longer feel that presence no more. It's totally gone. But of course, it's not dead. And it'll be back whenever I have my dark thoughts or whatever again. It doesn't change with that entity. So that was my recent experience with that entity. Again, if you have any similar experiences with that entity, let me know. Does everyone have a specific entity that they deal with every single time when they're in a, dark thoughts? So this is how it's looking. The thumb and the pinky. I'm going to do some blood splatter. And since I already know where, not yet. One moment. I'm sorry, I had to tell the children to hurry up and get ready. Teen boys, so they're just take forever. Hopefully I didn't overdo it on the stitches. I have to hurry up and get ready myself. I want to go ahead and just finish this little thumb and pinky first. I don't know if I want to split the videos. Because it's going to take forever. I think I'm going to split the videos. into parts because it'll take forever if I don't. So I'm going back again with this mortar nail gel to do some blood splatter. I had used this method on my biohazard nail design for the Resident Evil. So I feel like it needs some blood on him or on it. So I'm only taking a little bit, because a little bit goes a long way each time. Maybe a little more. So should I mat it first? Nah. Just splatters back. But yeah, that was my recent one with that entity. With the doll. And speaking with the doll, I might as well tell that little story real quick. During the time when the very first Chucky movie came out, the Child's Play. During that time, I'm gonna find a picture if I can locate it again. I don't know what kind of doll it was. I don't know if it was like a Cabbage Patch doll or what, but there was. I'm afraid this. It shouldn't, right? The light from the. But anyway, during that time, when the Child Play came out, I don't know if the Cabbage Patch doll just decided to just make a doll that specifically or purposely make it look like Chucky, but they did. Of course, it didn't look exactly like Chucky, but what's crazy was, I don't know, sometimes I can't explain some things because based off of my memory, I don't know if other people experience this, but when I grew up, it traumatized me so bad. So when something traumatized you, you would remember the details, right? From what I remember, this doll looked exactly like freaking Chucky, except for that it was female. It was a female version. She looked like Tiffany. Okay, she looked like Tiffany, except for she had the orange hair, and her hair was braided. Her hair was braided. She had the whole overalls and everything like that. And I remember her face looking like Chucky or Tiffany. Okay. I don't know if it's because the movie had traumatized me, but I didn't see that Child's Play movie until later in my life. So I'm not sure. Maybe I did saw it with a time when it came out, but I don't know. I remember the face looking like Tiffany, okay, and it creeped me out. But at first, it didn't creep me out. My parents apparently, when the Child's Play came out, from what I've seen, a lot of parents had threw away their Cabbage Patch doll or whatever doll company it was. They threw it away. So my parents had found that doll in the trash, and they're like, "Oh, look, hey, it's Chucky. Let's bring it home." That's what she said. She said, "Let's bring it home for the kids or whatever." At first, me and my sister, we loved it. Okay, we loved it. Oops, we grew up with a lot of hand-me-down toys or toys that's found in dumpsters or whatever. We never really got brand new toys. Not saying that we never did, we do. But the majority of times, my parents are money savers. Um, and so we grew up appreciating everything, what we gotten and wherever it comes from, right? So they had gotten that from the dumpster, I believe that's what she said. She said it looked at brand new still, so she brought it home. There was nothing wrong with it at first. Okay, there was nothing wrong with it at first, and then um, until one day, I don't know, something started changing with it. I don't freaking know. Me and my younger sister, we had felt. I think that me and my younger sister was more spiritually open. So we had sensed something wasn't right about the doll no more. We had felt something heavy in regards of that doll. And one day we just felt that it was evil, like something was evil with it. So um, we started beating it up. We started telling my mom to throw it away, but my mom didn't want to throw it away. Um, I started hearing voices from it, like whispering voices. When you put your ear close to its mouth, you can hear it whispering something. I could never make out what it stated. And what's crazy about it was we both had heard it. And I had just recently talked to her. Well, not recently, like a couple of years back. I had asked her if she had remember it whispering to us. She said no. I'm like, what the heck? Like I sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy or something, like the experience that I have and what I vividly remember because it traumatized me so bad. It just makes me question about what I went through sometimes. I don't know if there's other people that experience that, but it just makes me question, like, the hell, did we experience the same thing? Did we experience the same thing? Why don't you remember this? Because it messed me up so bad. So that's how I was looking. Um, it messed me up so bad. I think I'm gonna go over. Let me see. I'm gonna paint the rest of the top orange, since I already know where the cuticle is, and then I'm gonna go over it with matte. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, what the heck? Did we not just experience the same thing? And then they literally wouldn't remember, or either that they would just block off the trauma. I don't know. I would ask them, like, did you just block it off or something? Because I literally remember in details on what had happened. They would say no, they don't remember. Okay, they don't remember, and they would just leave it at that. So I'm like, okay. So I don't know what's going on with that. And I promise I'm not making this up. It traumatized me so bad. Every story that I would say, that's what I remembered. That's how I was feeling at the time. That's what I saw. That's what I felt. That's what I heard. So that's why I'm like, that's the other reason why I don't want to talk about it, because I'm like, man, maybe I was just so freaking, like, I don't know, like my mind is like very active, I guess. Did I make it up? Like, I start questioning myself. But then I would always fall back, like, no, I don't. I remember that freaking trauma so bad. I did not make this up, you know? I did not make this up. I remember every single detail. So it's just like, I don't know if they just got traumatized so bad to where they had closed it out of their lives, and don't want to think about it no more. But yeah, for me, going back to the story, let's not get off topic, Rin. Going back to the story, I remember it whispering to me or hearing voices, and I would, I asked my sister if she had heard it. That time she said, yeah, she hears whispering, but we can't not make out on what it's saying. So now she don't remember it saying anything, or she said that she never heard anything from it, but she did remember the heaviness of that doll. Anyway, that's when I had experienced that entity being in that doll. It showed me how it looked in that doll. Always with the red eyes, yellow jagged teeth, mocking me or whatever, making fun of me, and I defeated every single time. I always defeated. I always managed to cast it out. And I always win it. So that's how it's looking at the moment. And I'm going to wipe this. I love that lamp. It's very, very strong. I recommend wearing gloves. I kind of feel a little tingly sensation on my hands. So I think I'm going to go over it with Matt. So I saw it in my dreams. And there's a lot of stories with that doll too, where we would get in trouble apparently placing it in the middle of the hallway or in front of my mom's bedroom door, and she would always get onto us like, hey, why are you guys putting this doll in front of my doorstep? I'm always tripping on this thing. And we would always tell her, no, we didn't do nothing, we didn't place her there. And we would get in trouble for that. My mom would yell at us, whip our behind, because apparently we were the ones putting the doll in front of the bedroom door, in front of her bedroom door, and she's tripping over it. And she would always say, quit doing this, quit doing that. And she would tell us, and then eventually we would tell her, no, we didn't put it there. And she would eventually okay, maybe they're telling the truth. I would just leave it as that. I would just put it away when I see it. So it's multiple times where we would put it in one area of the apartment, and then when we come back, it would be in a different area. Multiple times. Like whenever we go to the store as a family, we would tell my parents, okay, we're putting it behind this. We used to have this big screen TV. We used to have this big screen TV, and we would tell her, hey, we're putting it behind here. So when we leave, she's going to be somewhere else. I guarantee it. So we would be at the store for, I don't know, an hour or a little over an hour. And then when we would come back, she would literally be on the sofa, or she would be on the floor, anywhere else but where we had left her. And that happened multiple times. And my mom we don't really, talk to my dad about it, because we weren't ever really close to my dad. But my mom, we were. So we had told her everything about it. And that doll would not be in a place where we would leave her. And she would always say, maybe it's my older brother, because he wouldn't go to the store with us. He would be outside playing while we leave to the store. He is a Gen Xer. So you know how that is with Gen Xers. They can go wherever, whenever they want or whatever. And the parents don't, at least with mine, they just tell him, just be back before dark time, before it's nighttime, and he would be back. But they would say that maybe it's him that's doing that. But what's funny is he didn't have the apartment key. He didn't have no way to get in and out of the apartment. But they just wanted to state that maybe it was just him moving it around. I'm like, he's not even here. When we come back, he's not even here. The windows are all locked. The doors, it was only one entrance. The door was locked. The windows are all locked. And we lived on the second floor of the apartment. So it was always like excuses. The excuses that we would get on why the doll was moving. So then me and my sister got tired of it one day, and we beat the shit out of that doll, just beat the shit out of it. And when I would have dreams of it coming into my dream, I would beat the shit out of it in my dreams. As a child, I was, like I said, I don't know, I was around 8 to 12 years old. I would beat the hell out of it in my dream, and then I would cast it out of the doll. And then eventually we got my mom to throw away that doll. And from then on, I never experienced anything with that entity until I had my first child again. And then it revisited me, it came back. And I know it's that same entity because of the red eyes and yellow jagged teeth. Always a big grin on its face, But I had recently experienced it again with that new doll that I have. And again, I said the same thing, that I would permanently, destroy it. And it just finally, it went away. But to say that it's completely gone, no, it's not completely gone. So that's the story of that doll for now. But I have to get ready, or shall I say that entity. But yeah, this is how it's looking, and I'm liking it so far with that matte. Look at that. So that goes on to the thumb and the pinky. Again, so I am done with the thumb and pinky. I don't want to do too much. I don't want to take it away. I don't want to do too much to where it takes away from the main design. I'm going to try to do a 3D design here, hand-drawn art here, and his candy bag here. So, but this is the first part of my little Halloween series talk. I don't want to do a whole video because, like I said, I just have so many stories and I just want to talk about it. Again, my life is just so hectic and busy. I don't want to make the video too long, and I already know that this video is already long as is with just these two little simple designs. So yeah, that's that with that entity, and I have so many more with the entity. I'll just talk as I go and on making this little art design project. So this would be part 1. I don't know if I want to continue on talking about that entity or just talking about other things that happened. We'll see. It's just how I go with the flow on it. But that was my recent experience with that entity and the little backstory of that entity. I think it came from whatever it was in that first doll, and it just stuck with me ever since. And it likes to fuck with me when I'm in that dark thoughts or whatever, but I defeat it every single time. But yes, so far that's that with that. And this will be my part 1, and I hope you stick around for my other random talks. I'm not going to go in order because that's just too much. I'll just talk as I go. And we'll see what I bring up next. We'll see what other stories that I bring up or talk about next. Like I said, it's just going to be random. It's just what I'm going to think about at the moment. But so far, this is how it's looking. This will be part 1 out of I don't know how many parts because I'm always getting disrupted. Like right now, I have to go get ready to go to the mall, maybe do some more little shopping. I don't know if it's more Halloween shopping or more clothes shopping for my kids, but we'll see. But I hope you stick around for the other parts and the completion of this little project that I'm doing for Halloween. But yes, and I might put a little picture of the doll that I had bought from Amazon. She looks creepy as shit, but at the same time, I love it. I didn't need to decorate too much because she was already creepy as hell already. I might put a little picture of her there. But yes, I hope you stick around for the rest of this video, this little Halloween ghost story, paranormal talk, hang out with me type of deal, random stuff. I don't know what you want to call this. I hope you stick around to the end. But thank you again for listening to my experiences. I really appreciate it. And if you have any experience or if you want to talk about it or anything, comment below. I would love to read it. I would love to read through them. But yes, again, this is part 1 out of, I don't know how many parts it will be. We'll see. But yes, I hope to see you soon. Thank you again for watching. If you made it to the end, if you can give me a little orange heart, that would be great. And I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.